We told you all week about the collapse of Southwest Airlines flight schedule, where tonight we're meeting two Red Raiders. We're making the most of it. KCBD News Channel 11's Natalie Falkenberry introduces us to one fan who made quite the journey to make the game and one who's just making the most out of being stuck in Houston.
We decided to take a trip to New York, so we were in New York, and I was like, oh, there's a bowl game in Houston where we live. So I was like, yeah, let's go ahead and get the bowl game. We'll be back in time.
Then the travel fiasco with Southwest Airlines unfolded. Carter Dixon and his family found out that their flight was one of the thousands canceled after they had arrived at the airport.
In the back of my head, I was like, I got that bowl game to get to. We gotta get this flight going.
Delay after delay, Carter and his family gave up hope on making it home to see the Red Raiders in Houston.
And out of the blue, there was this bus ride that was leaving in like an hour for all like Houston people from New York. And we were like, that's a long drive, but let's go ahead and do it because we got plans, we got tickets.
And a long drive it was, 27 hours on a Greyhound bus. Carter and his family finally pulled into Houston. When we asked Carter why this game was so important, like any true Red Raider, he says he is just being a faithful fan.
It's not really just watching a game. It's like really it's like it feels like you're involved in the game with how much like the fans do.
While the Dixon family was unpacking, across town at the Houston airport, other Lubbock travelers were working to make it home from the holidays.
So I was at the airport. I'm trying to get home, visiting my family from Christmas, trying to get back home to Lubbock. Had some difficulties.
Holly says she and many other Lubbockites sat at the gate as they watched their luggage take off without them.
Everyone was so upset because the luggage took off, and then everybody was trying to get, a next flight.
Once the frustration settled, a light bulb went off. She was a Red Raider fan stranded in the city where the Texas Bowl was just one day away.
We were all talking, and everyone decided that it'd be a good idea to just kind of stay and go to the bowl game, support while we're here, make the most of it.
Carter and Holly say they are looking forward to seeing a wave of red tonight as they cheer on the Red Raiders in Houston. Natalie Falkenberry, KCBD News Channel 11.